Hi YouTube! Today I wanted to do a short little video on my PICC line. I'm gonna have to change shirts. This one's not gonna work. Okay, this will probably work better. This is my PICC line. Kind of looks like an IV, except that it's not inserted here or here. It's here, and it's covered by this bandage, which is sort of coming up a little bit. PICC line stands for peripherally inserted, a peripherally inserted central catheter. Not that kind of catheter. It's a line that goes from here, that goes down to here, runs all the way up my arm, and into one of the bigger blood vessels in my chest. I use this PICC line to administer antibiotics to myself. But there are also other uses for a PICC line. One thing that's really nice about them is that people can draw blood from me without sticking me. Now, I don't really mind being stuck with needles so much, but it is kind of convenient that they just suck the blood right out of here and don't have to go rooting around in my arms to take my blood. Once a week, a home healthcare nurse comes by and she changes this dressing.
What's up, world? Let's get it poppin' with CC Mixer. It's your boy Jeff Williams. Word. What's up, young world? It's Jeff Williams.
And Jay Lang.
You're listening to CC Mixer.
It's always in the mix.
My doctors say that this PICC line can be removed after my amputation, about 24 hours after. The reason I'm on antibiotics is because the foot that I have now is infected, but once that foot is gone, the infection will pretty much be gone. Alright, so I am going to show you how to do a PICC line infusion of antibiotics. I have two antibiotics that I infuse, daptomycin and cefepime. Between each infusion of antibiotics, you have to flush your IV with saline. The last thing you do is fill your PICC line with heparin so that you don't get any clogs or blood clots in your PICC line. I keep all my medicine and supplies in a box with a lid so that my cats and dogs don't get into it. It's really important to wash your hands before you handle your PICC line, because once this valve is opened, this PICC line is a direct line to one of the main veins in your body. Usually what I do is I clean my hands, and then I clean my PICC line with an alcohol swab really well, and then I make sure not to touch the end of the PICC line with my bare hands while I'm doing the infusion. This is saline, it just flushes out the line. You have to unlock it, and then you push it in there to flush out the line. The antibiotics you cannot just push in really fast or it'll make you sick. So you have to do it about one line every 10 seconds. So usually I watch something, I watch TV or something, or watch YouTube videos while I'm doing this, because it takes about like 5 minutes or so. 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi. PICC lines are meant for long-term antibiotic or other medicine infusion, and the reason you don't get PICC lines in the hospital a lot of the time is because you're only there temporarily. While I'm getting the next syringe of flush ready, I keep the old syringe on the line so that the end doesn't get contaminated with anything. When you're doing these flushes, you want to make sure you get the air bubbles out of the syringe so you don't put air bubbles in your bloodstream. But if you get a little air bubble in there, so that is okay. I asked the nurses about that, and they said that you'd have to pretty much have air in this whole line for there to be a problem. But it's still a good idea to get all the air out of there. This is heparin flush. It keeps your line from clogging. Now I lock the ends, take it off, wrap it back around, and I'm done with my infusion. And here's what the PICC line looks like up close. This is where it goes into my body. Just goes straight in there and right up my arm. This is the lock that keeps it in place. And then this thing is stuck to my skin. This dressing is placed over the entire thing. This is the lock. And you have to, it's a good idea to move the lock into a different place every time so that your line doesn't get kinked. The pigtail gets changed out once a week. These PICC lines can last about 2 years in somebody if you need it to, so they actually have a very long lifespan. The reason my skin is orange under here is because it was just cleaned with betadine and then the dressing's placed right over it without washing it off, so it stays kind of orangey. Wrap it around. Leave it like that. I think this is about as close as I can go. Super duper close up view. Okay, that's all for today. See you later.